in which investigators believe is the result of domestic violence.
It happened last week on Union Avenue Southeast near Oakdale, taking the life of a mother of 3.
News 8's Demetria Sanders has the latest.
Marcus Lofton is facing 2 different felonies for the death of his wife, Alicia. According to court documents, the killing happened 1 day after he was served divorce papers. On the morning of August 17th, Grand Rapids police responded to calls of an unresponsive woman with multiple gunshot wounds next to a home on Union Avenue Southeast near Oakdale. 42-year-old Marcus Lofton is charged with open murder and felony firearm for allegedly shooting and killing his wife Alicia Lofton in that incident. According to a probable cause affidavit, Marcus told investigators the day prior Alicia served him divorce papers and was selling the house. On the 17th, Marcus said an argument ensued where he grabbed Alicia's pistol that was found in a drawer, and as he attempted to strike her, it went off. He then told police Alicia went into a room and locked the door, and after Marcus forced it open, Alicia was climbing out a window to exit the house. That's when Marcus says he shot her several times. At the time of the shooting, Marcus wasn't supposed to be in contact with Alicia due to a domestic violence arrest in May. Kent County prosecutor Chris Becker says domestic violence is on the short list of crimes his office sees each day.
Doesn't discriminate based on geographic area. Doesn't discriminate in terms of socioeconomic. It's everywhere.
In response to an increase in domestic violence cases, in 2022, $4 million of American Rescue Plan funding was set aside for Kent County's Domestic Violence Action Network.
We're looking for the funding. We saw probably our highest level. I think we had 5 or 6 domestic violence homicides.
In addition to establishing a domestic violence court in Kent County with the funding, another goal is a lethality review program for high-risk cases.
Take a look at those basic cases we may get and still take a look at it and say, oh, this one may be a little bit more serious. We got to do a little more focus on.
Yeah, I think I do these stories because I can relate to them. Even though I was 1 year old, my mother was fatally beaten to death by my father. Like I said, I was 1 year old, so these stories, I think I want to get these stories out for awareness purposes, because this is no joke. Domestic violence is no joke, and people should take this serious. If you see red flags in the beginning of your relationship, try to make some actions and then move on before you seriously get involved with that person and fall in love. Now, this story is coming out of Grand Rapids, Michigan. Now, a convicted felon barred from having contact with his newlywed wife in a domestic violence case is accused of fatally shooting her as she tried to flee through a window of their Michigan home a day after she filed for divorce. Yeah, they say that's when domestic violence cases are more serious, is when you're actually trying to leave that person. So when you leave that person, you gotta completely disappear so they can't find you, because that's when it's most dangerous. Now, Marcus Lofton, 42, faces an open murder charge and firearm violations in the death of Alicia Lofton, 38. Marcus Lofton, whose convictions for firearms and drugs to date back to 2000. He was held Tuesday at the Kent County Jail without bail. He was set to appear in court again on September 5th, the news reports. An affidavit obtained by Fox 17 outlines the allegations and his alleged statements to police, in which he allegedly admits shooting her after an argument. Yeah, and that argument was probably in regards to her filing for a divorce. Now, Grand Rapids police responded to the 400 block of Adams Street Southeast on a report of the sounds of gunshots. A second call came in a minute later, reporting an unresponsive female nearby, next to 1411 Union Avenue Southeast in Grand Rapids, which was nearby, the document said. The victim was found on the ground just north of the house with numerous fatal gunshot wounds to the head and body. the affidavit said. A neighbor told police he heard arguing before the gunshots and saw a black male leave in a maroon SUV. Marcus Lofton was quickly identified and arrested. He drove a similar vehicle and had earlier domestic violence incidents, the affidavit said. Now, at the police station, he allegedly told investigators she had served him divorce papers a day earlier and was selling the house, the affidavit said. During an argument, he grabbed her Glock pistol from a drawer and said he tried to hit her with it when it went off. The document said he told police. When she went into a bedroom and locked the door, he allegedly told investigators he forced it open and shot her numerous times as she was climbing out the window. Marcus stated he shot Alicia numerous times before he fled in his maroon SUV, police wrote in the affidavit. It was unclear Tuesday whether he had an attorney. Now, the couple married in February. In May, he was arrested for domestic violence against her. One of the conditions of his release on bond was that he had no contact with Alicia, the affidavit said. Yeah, you know, those restraining orders and no contact orders, that stuff doesn't work. These guys are too emotional. That's not going to stop them. That's not going to stop them. Now, she has 3 adult children, a daughter in college, a son about to start college, and a daughter in high school, according to a fundraising site. Now, her brother, Faustino Garcia, told Fox 17, the children are trying to cope as best they can. It's an unfortunate event, and it's unfortunate timing because they have to start school soon, he said to the authorities. It's a lot for them to take in. My oldest niece is graduating college. Next year, her mom's not going to be there.
These kids have lost their mother, they lost their matriarch, they lost somebody that cared for them, and that's what I want the light shed on more, as not being shed on that guy.
Court records give Fox 17 a better idea about the final moments of Alicia's life. Marcus allegedly told officers he'd been served divorce papers, and an argument followed. During the argument, Marcus told officers he tried to hit Alicia with her own Glock, but the gun went off. Next, Alicia reportedly locks herself in a bedroom. Marcus told officers he broke down the door, found Alicia crawling out of the bedroom window before he opened fire.
Definitely a tragic loss because of the tragic story behind it as well.
According to court records, Marcus and Alicia are said to have had a history of domestic violence during their time as a married couple. The two were married in February, but just a few months later in May, Marcus was arrested for domestic violence, accused of harming Alicia. Court records say he wasn't supposed to have contact with Alicia, a condition of his bond from the May arrest. Family saying the hardest hit by all of this are Alicia's 3 children.
To find out that your mother was tragically murdered, my oldest niece is 22, my nephew is 19, and then her youngest daughter is 14, so they're handling it as best as they can.
Yeah, I just want to say my condolences to the family and to Alicia Lofton. Rest in peace. Okay, I'll talk to you guys later.